Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 20, text number 19, 20. Visasarja Atmana Kayam Navinandan Tamamayam Jagroryaksharekshansi Ratring Shutrit Samudbhavan. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Out of disgust, Brahma threw off the body of ignorance, and taking this opportunity, Yakshas and Rakshasas sprang for possessions of the body, which continued to exist in the form of night. Night is a source of hunger and thirst. Text 20. Shutridbhyam upasrishtaste tam jagdhum abhidudruvaha Marakshatainam jakshadvam iti uchuhu kshutrid adritaha. Overpowered by hunger and thirst, they ran to devour Brahma from all sides and cried, "Spare him not, eat him up." Purport. The representatives of the Yakshas and Rakshasas still exist in some countries of the world. It is understood that such uncivilized men take pleasure in killing their own grandfathers and holding a love feast by roasting the bodies. Text 21. Devastanaha samvigno mam jakshata rakshata aho me yaksha rakshamsi prajayuyam babhuvita. Brahma, the head of the demigods, full of anxiety, asked them, "Do not eat me, but protect me. You are born from me and have become my sons. Therefore you are Yakshas and Rakshasas." Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The demons who were born from the body of Brahma were called Yakshas and Rakshasas because some of them cried that Brahma should be eaten and others cried that he should not be protected. The ones who said that he should be eaten were called Yakshas, and ones who said that he should not be protected became Rakshasas or man-eaters. The two Yakshas and Rakshasas are the original creation. The two Yakshas and Rakshasas are the original creation by Brahma and are represented even until today in the uncivilized men who are scattered all over the universe. They are born of the mode of ignorance, and therefore because of their behavior they are called Rakshasa or man-eaters. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So this is a description of how the uncivilized Yakshas and Rakshasas came into being. Brahma, being in charge of the secondary creation, we saw in the previous how he began his creation. First of all, Brahma created from a shadow the coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls. They are 5 in number, are called Tamisra, Andatamisra, Tamas Moha and Mahamoha. So basically now, these are the symptoms of the mode of ignorance covering the souls. The souls are continuing their journey from their previous kalpa, and during the creation, the Lord empowers Brahma. Through Brahma, the various living entities are given different types of bodies, and according to their bodies, they bring out different kinds of gunas, qualities into this material world. So this is a description of how when the tamoguna completely covers the living entities, they are called Yakshas and Rakshasas. They are so wild, uncivilized living beings So much so that if you see here the description, Brahma himself is praying to his own created sons, please don't eat me, protect me. So this is nothing, when in this world, even now we see sometimes the children become the biggest source of trouble for the fathers. They harass them, they torture them for wealth or whatever it may be. So just because somebody is a son or somebody is a daughter, there is no guarantee that he won't be the worst enemy in your life. So if you see here, Brahma himself, the first step of creation itself, Brahma is threatened by his own sons. So this material world is always full of dangers like this. There is life in this material world, but that life is full of dangers. The life is nothing. Life symptoms are created in this world as an imitation of the life in the spiritual world, which is always Vaikuntha, free from all anxieties. And there we have a life of constant blissful service to the Supreme Lord. But here in the material world, each living entity has to fend for himself, and according to law of karma, he will get sukha, dukkha. And unlimited living entities are also competing with him, and in the process, according to law of karma, one supersedes the other, one becomes a master, other becomes a servant, one becomes a food for another living entity, one becomes the object of pleasure for another living entity. This is going on, this is the nature of this material world. So those who do not want to become, they're always in this material world. If you are powerful, there is somebody more powerful. Then there is already somebody more powerful. So we are always servants of someone. We may be master of, somebody may be a master of few people, but he is a servant of few people again. This is the nature of this material world. As devotees, there is not once we understand that we are part and parcel of Krishna, it becomes very clear upon the devotee that this is not a place for gentlemen to live. Forget about spiritual life and all. You can't live like a gentleman here. People will harass you. Even now, Prabhupada says, in this planet there are this kind of yakshas and rakshasas, even now, who roast the bodies of their grandfathers. I don't know why he said grandfather. Why not father? Grandfathers. So there must be some instances, there must be something he must have also heard. You never know what all is going on this earth, in African jungles, even in our own jungles. India is also so big. We think we know everything about India. We do not know everything about India also. Nobody knows everything about India also. Huge tracts of forest lands are there. There are so many tribes inside. We do not even know. Nobody can even reach there. They have their own civilization. Even now in this country. So what all goes on there, what all goes on in Africa, what all goes on in so many different continents, not only Africa, everywhere. This kind of things must be going on even now. Why speak of the African jungle and Indian jungles and all these things? Speak of the Indian cities. Here also, among the people there will be Rakshasas. We think this world is, the cities are all as simple as it looks. No. There will be so many secretive things that are going on where people are tortured, people are killed, people's wealth is looted. What comes in the newspaper is what the media people can reach, isn't it not? Only what he can reach, he can write. If he cannot reach certain things, what he will write? So, this world is very dangerous place. Padam yadvi padam natesh. As Vaishnavas, the devotees are always aware that Krishna is constantly protecting us. That is the reason why Srila Prabhupada introduced Narasimha worship for the devotees. Because we are a preaching movement, and even though we are ultimately, our object of worship is Radha and Krishna, but in this material world we are preaching the message, the love of Radha and Krishna, the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because we are preaching in this world which is full of asuras and suras. Material world means two, asuras and suras. And we are actually preaching to the suras, preaching to the pious. The sinful asuras, they disturb the preaching movement, they torture the devotees, they harass the devotees. And therefore, Lord Narasimha's protection, invoking Lord Narasimha in our daily life is extremely important. Narasimhadev protects the devotees, Vigna Vinasha, from all the obstacles. So many obstacles, the preachers do not even know that so many attacks are happening, and Lord, before the attack reaches you, the Lord is protecting. It is not that we are aware of every attack of every negative forces, we are aware of every negative demoniac personalities who are trying to attack the preaching movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. People will become envious, they will become jealous of the growth of the movement, they will become jealous of the devotees. As Prabhupada said, that as we grow, then the opposition will increase. Now we are spared. As we grow, then the opposition is increased. So constantly one should know that he is being protected by Narasimhadeva. To live peacefully like this in this material world is not easy. Even now, even though the age of Kali is not very much advanced, even now to live on this earth in a peaceful manner as we are living here in this ashram, it is not possible. It is only possible because the Lord is warding away so many asuric forces from this Hare Krishna hill. The Lord is keeping away so many asuric forces from entering the bodies of each devotees who is chanting Hare Krishna, who is a sadhaka of the holy name. Lord Narasimha is protecting that asuric forces do not enter our mind, enter our body. So one should always be grateful to Narasimhadeva. When one goes before Prahlad Narasimha, one should understand that Prahlad Narasimha is very active. There are many things that I don't see, you don't see. Prahlad Narasimha is doing. If we have to see, we may say, why not we also see that? Some things he will show. Some attack will come very close and you will see and you will say Narasimhadeva and he will protect you. But if he makes us see all the attacks, then we will have no other work but to be in constant fear of this material world. We will not be able to preach. So we should eternally be grateful to Lord Narasimhadeva, who is constantly protecting us from Rakshasas. Rakshasas are there. Even in the civilized cities, Rakshasas are there. And Rakshasas means, today there are no Rakshasas. Even though we don't see Rakshasas like described here, who roast their grandfather and eat, etc. Even though we don't see that kind of Rakshasas, but In one sense, you see, even though the Rakshasas here are roasting their grandfathers, the present population are roasting so many animals. Animals are actually no different than human beings. The soul is same, the pain is the same. So how insensitive people are when they slaughter so many animals every day. They slaughter so many cows every day. And they think they are civilized. And they sit and they eat with great relish the meat. And they all think they are intellectuals. They keep discussing. Nowadays they talk about cow meat, beef, why we should not ban cow meat, why so special this thing only for beef. All this kind of discussion is going on. And so-called intellectual liberated thinkers, and they say that everybody should be allowed to eat what they like, what taste they like, they should be able to eat. One writer had written, this is freedom to eat what he wants to eat. Another writer had defeated him by saying that human flesh is the tastiest. According to your logic, we should close down all burial grounds. We should think of the country's economy. Why are we wasting the human flesh by burying and burning the bodies in the guards? We should commercialize dead bodies. And that will cater to the highest taste of the tongue. So that fellow had no answer. See, there is no principle in what all these people simply they talk something. So for that you have morality. What is your basis for that morality? Why don't you eat human body, human flesh is the tastiest? Why not? Let's bring some revolution in this country. What other countries have not done, let us do this first. No, with human beings you cannot do. Cow, what is there? It is the same. Their soul is the same. The pain is the same. So that way, even though we don't have Rakshasas of this quality in big scale in the cities, practically every meat eater is, especially those who eat meat without proper, in every religion, if you see in Islam also or even in our Vedas also, meat eating is allowed with certain elaborate rituals, etc., so as to prevent it from becoming a scaled activity. The real sin today is, or for the real harm for the society, is a scaled activity of these things. Otherwise, Vedas provide exemptions to everybody, and they reform them by putting them through certain long processes of ritual and everything, so that ultimately he will get fed up and he'll say, it is not worth, for this taste I should do all these things, it's not worth it. He will get detached. But now that difficult part is removed, and you get off the shelf, go and buy. So this scaling of, beef production, just like it's in Western world, why in Western, even in India it has started. Huge cow farms are there, not for milk. The economy is based on meat. milk is so excess that they throw it. They throw it in the ocean. The cow is being bred only for meat. Entire their scientific calculation, everything is how much weight, how much flesh, everything. Feed. At one stage, put them line up. It's a massive scale it happens. 5,000, 10,000, like that they line up. The mechanical slaughterhouses are there. And the cows, and they have studied so many different kinds of, they have done so many research, so many different kinds of research. What makes the taste good of the killed animal? If you kill in this particular way, the taste will be more. In this way they have created, they have researched so much, and and they kill in particular ways, torturous ways they kill the cows. So where does all this pain on the earth go? It will come back to the human population. This pain will come back. That is a law of karma. When you give pain, that pain comes back in the human society. And then that pain has to be shared by only those people who caused that pain. Wherever those souls are, it will go and... There's a balancing act, the material nature. So, we should to remain in this material world, in this crazy material world, in this dangerous material world, to have a peaceful existence like how we are having here, is something which we have to be eternally be grateful to Prabhupada and to Nrsimhadev, where we can do our devotion service to Krishna by Harinam Sankirtana. Reality should not be forgotten. One should not think that because you are experiencing Vaikunta on Hare Krishna hill, and the rest of the world is also Vaikunta. It is not. Something else is happening there. Hard struggle for material existence is going on just outside the border of Hare Krishna hill. Immediate neighborhood. Hard struggle for material existence. No living entity is safe. One is overpowering the other. One living entity is overpowering the other. That is the law of material karma. One is making the other the servant. And he is again made a servant by somebody else. So there is a hard struggle for material existence under the stringent laws of material nature. That is a prison house. So the devotees, they know that the cause of all these evil mentalities in this world is a sinful tendency of the living entity. And therefore, all the more the devotee is aloof from any kind of sinful activity or sinful thinking of harming other living entities, sinful thinking of harming one's own self, one's own body, one's own mind. By adhering to the principles of dharma, by adhering to the principles of religiosity that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is what Prabhupada has given us, a life of how to live in this material world like a gentleman, no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and chant Hare Krishna. Automatically, the Lord will protect such living entities. And always this material world has got suras and asuras, and the Lord Vishnu is always on the side of these suras. He always gives them protection. Just like he protected Prahlad Maharaj. That we need not forget. And that is how we also have worship of Lord Nrsimha as preachers. And in this way, we are having a Vaikunta-like atmosphere in this prison house, within this prison house. Any questions? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।